Have you heard the phrase burn the boats? It's a concept or a philosophy that's been used for centuries. And it's sometimes been assigned to Spanish conquistadors, to Julius Caesar, but it's really been used forever. In fact, it was mentioned in Sun Tzu's Art of War when he described advancing deep into enemy territory while destroying the boats and the cooking pots behind them, so options for retreat were available. In fact, they wouldn't bring food, so that the only way you could eat was to conquer the enemy. And then later on, the ancient Israelites, when besieging armies left no escape route to heighten resolve, once again they burned the boats. In 711 AD, Tariq ibn Zayed, when his outnumbered Muslims faced forces landed in Spain, he burned the ships, telling his men they would conquer or perish. And then Herman Cortez burned his ships when arriving in Mexico, and on and on and on. Even up to most recently with Vladimir Zelensky, when he was offered to be evacuated, he said, "I don't need a ride. I need weapons." And so it's a popular phrase. And the reason why I bring it up, because this week I'm going to review the book Burn the Boats. And this book is by Matt Higgins. And you may know Matt. He is often a guest investor on Shark Tank. He has a very rich background, including he was an executive for both the Jets and then the Miami Dolphins. He headed up the World Trade Center 1 rebuilding. When he worked for, he was also the head of, he was a press secretary for Mayor Giuliani. It goes on and on and on. Really well-respected person. So he wrote this book, Burn the Boats. And I'll tell you, I listened to it on Audible, and I listened to the introduction, and I'm like, I don't think this book's for me. But I decided to keep listening, and in the end, I really enjoyed the book. I got a lot out of the book. I thought it was going to be a little, shallow. And it certainly wasn't really heavy on conventions or frameworks. It was more based on personal experience and wisdom, and this guy has all the background to provide it. He grew up super getting in the projects in New York, didn't graduate from high school, got a GED, and then ended up getting a degree in college, and then actually went to law school before being, as I mentioned, the youngest press secretary under Judy Giuliani, and then helping lead the World Trade Center rebuilding. So quite the category. He's also he's been an early investor in Momofuku and RSV, Impossible Foods, just to name a few. Today he's invested in hundreds, if not thousands, of companies. But I thought the book was pretty good. I'll share some of the key concepts from the book, and then just encourage you to read it. Higgins' message is super clear right from the title, and it's essentially backup plans dilute effort, they weaken focus and sabotage ambition. True breakthroughs require full emotional, psychological, and professional commitment. No extra strategy, no safety net. And so that's what the book's really about. Just, hey, make your choice, go 100%, don't leave any alternatives. That's when magic happens. So I'll share a few key points from the book. The main point, no exit strategy. That's the core principle of the book. Keeping fallback plans invites hesitation and self-sabotage. Total commitment activates higher levels of creativity, focus, and resilience. And if you're worried you won't succeed, then you already weakened your resolve. None of this is earth-shattering, but it was a good book. It was a really good book, and I really enjoyed it. Another concept, the science behind Plan B paralysis. In 2014, this was really interesting. Wharton's study showed that even thinking about a backup plan lowers motivation and reduces achievement rates. Backup plans create emotional safety, but reduce hunger and urgency. And the pain of pursuit fuels greatness, and so you have to have fear to really achieve, in his opinion. And the next concept is trust your instincts. He talks about this. Our internal experiences provide proprietary insights no one else sees. Entrepreneurs succeed by acting on gut instincts others dismiss. The best decisions are what he calls gut sandwiches, intuition layered with just enough data to support bold moves. Another core concept in the book is cultivate self-awareness. He talked about this quite a bit. Self-awareness is the ultimate arbitrage in life and leadership. Leaders must confront shame, limiting beliefs, and personal wounds to unlock growth. Vulnerability creates strength. Unresolved insecurity erodes leadership. He suggests using pain, fear, and anxiety as fuel. Avoidance of discomfort limits growth. Anxiety, when embraced, sharpens awareness and strengthens execution. The worst emotion is regret because it's entirely self-inflicted. And then he talks about breaking limiting patterns. Comfort zones often camouflage stagnation. Growth requires deliberate pattern breaks, career shifts, bold moves, or complete reinventions. One thing about Matt, he left like for example, when he was working for Governor Giuliani, he left twice because they weren't promoting him fast enough, and then they hired him back at a higher position. And that's what he talks about when he breaks your limiting patterns. Seek bigger opportunity. Don't let people tie you down. And then he goes on to say proprietary insight is your competitive advantage. Most businesses succeed not from inventions, but from unique insights drawn from personal experience. Founders act on what they see clearly before others do. And then he goes on to talk about compounding momentum. Early, bold actions set up exponential career gains over time. This next thing is really important. Compounding applies to careers, not just investments. Small early risk fuel later opportunities. Isn't that right? Compounding, experiences actually are no different than compounding returns on investments, on monetary investments. Submitting to greatness of others. This is where he talks about great leaders are willing to have great people around them. They're not intimidated by having really powerful people. And he's talking about these things in reference to all these companies. It seems like he interviews hundreds of potential company owners that are looking for investors, and what he looks for in these people, is one of the things is, are they willing to have greatness around them? And then he ends when you just think about these concepts, there's a lot of freedom of going all in. When you go all in, mental energy isn't wasted on alternatives. Total commitment activates creativity, resilience, and external support. So this, the book, the Audible I listened to was about 8 hours. I think the book hardcover is 277 pages. It's a pretty light read. It's pretty interesting. He certainly intertwines enough life experiences, and he mentions probably in the book, I want to say maybe 30 companies or company owners, or maybe 40, about their story and how they succeeded. And they're going to be people and they're all really, really impressive. And so, like I said, it's an easy read. I liked it. I was motivated by it. Some of the quotes from the book that you might like. You don't win when you give yourself the option to lose. Next one, backup plans are self-fulfilling prophecies of failure. Isn't that great? The greatest life hack in human history, eliminate every option for retreat. The pain of pursuit propels us to greatness. Trust thyself. Every heart vibrates to the iron string. That's Ralph Waldo Emerson, by the way, who Higgins cited. And then regret is the worst emotion because it's entirely self-inflicted. So there you go. That's the book I recommend. Give it a read. Give it a listen. Like I said, I got a lot out of it. I think you might like it. With that, I appreciate you sticking with me. I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time. I hope you like these book reviews. Look forward to talking to you again soon. Thanks so much. Have a great day.